Kangyuntan asked me, Shorka, can you teach us how to give heroes a suitable guts? Is there some way you can edit the guts with it to be matching the hero's death pose? So we're going to talk about that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Paladin into a unit. So I'm going to open up Paladin here. I'm also going to open up Footman just to kind of look at them. So notably, the Footman's Geoset 1 is his main body. So as we start to look at when the Footman fades away into his corpse on the ground, which is Geoset 5, we need to know to use the Geoset's main body for that on our Paladin transfer. So we're going to be transferring Footman data into the Paladin. To make my Paladin look more like a unit, I'm going to delete his hero glows. So we'll just get rid of that. You might not want to do that. Depends on what's your goal, what your function, what you want it to be. In my case, I just want the Paladin to be a unit, so that should be good. So then we're going to import from a unit. We're going to import from Footman into the Paladin. I'll click OK there. That should be pretty good. All I'm going to bring in here is I'm just going to bring in the Footman's body, the Gutz body that shows up. I'm going to check the box for Decay Flesh and Decay Bone here. So we got that from the Footman. We don't need any objects, so we should be able to just click Uncheck Unused in the Bones tab, and we'll just have that Guts 0. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the Footman's root, and I'm going to put that on the Paladin's main root, which should be some of these guys. Let's see, does Paladin Pelvis? We can check here in the Matrices tab. We can see if Paladin Pelvis is no parent. Should be, oh no, the pelvis is on root. So there is a root. All right, it's just called root. There we go. So we're going to transfer from the root of the Footman, which is the thing that's actually doing the sinking into the ground, and we'll make the Paladin sink into the ground the same way. This does not transfer the Paladin's way that he lays on the ground when he falls over. This just transfers the action of sinking into the ground. So we'll still have work to do when this is over. So I've got that. And now we go to this visibility tab, and we'll say that the pink Footman body is going to not be visible in Paladin animations. The Paladin's body is going to inherit from the Footman Geoset 1 in the Footman's animations. Likewise, the Paladin's glow on the end of his hammer and his ribbon when he swings it around, they're just for spells and attacks. They're not going to be visible in these new Decay animations. So we tag those as not visible. We tag his main body as using Footman visibility to determine when his body disappears. And we tag the new pink thing as not showing up in those Paladin animations. So I'll click Finish on that. That should give us a good basis. We're not done yet. So the Paladin stand, these other animations, they still look good. You can see it's a Paladin with no hero glow. Then when we get to like Decay, it's we've got the main root rotation of the Footman. He's on the ground, but he's not in the right pose yet. So for this now, I'm gonna copy the pose using software that is in part of my program that hasn't been published yet. So in order for this to really work, I do need to publish this new software for you guys to have access to. But this tutorial is just going to cover how to do it, and then with time, I'll get it to you guys so that you can do it, because I absolutely am in favor of allowing you to do that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this ending frame of the death animation, and then I'm going to go to Decay Flesh here, where he's trying to use something he inherited basically off of the Footman. And we're just going to go to that, and I'm going to click Paste, and that way it's going to paste that frame. So it'll paste the Paladin lying on the ground exactly how he looks at the end of death. As you can see now we have that, and then the challenge becomes, can we make him sink into the ground? So he's not really sinking into the ground directly because his positioning is changing. So for that, we'll toggle off everything except just the main root of the Paladin here, because the root is, of course, the problem. So what I can do, I can copy the start and I can paste that on the end. And if I do, that'll help us a lot. Now the Paladin just kind of sits in place. But that's not really good enough, right? We still wanted him to sink into the ground. Because if I undo what I just did, you can see he got several inches lower over here. So let's just remember where that green arrow is relative to the ground plane. Now I'll Control Z, or let's Control Y twice. So we put this back where it was. Now we'll move this guy so that the green arrow is below the ground plane the same amount. So now he's still sinking into the ground, but he's got the correct position. So we just have a sinking Paladin, which is really what we want, is a Paladin that sinks into the ground. Then the other thing we're going to do is we want to make sure that as the Paladin sinks into the ground, the body that shows up should match and look like a Paladin. Right now it doesn't at all. So for that, this part's key. We're going to bring up this display here and go to Decay Flesh, and so we're going to get it where we can see, and we'll set the speed to just 0 so we see them on top of each other. So now you can see both of those on top of each other. Even as I go out of the animation editor, the previewer always shows animations. So I can effectively use this to use my previewer to show the body on the ground which I can move around and see and live updates relative to where the guy is. This should give me the ability then. It looks like the guy's still moving because the speed is 2%, not 0. It looks like maybe I can't get the speed all the way to 0 on this one. That is just unfortunate. I would sure like to see if I could get that speed all the way down to 0. I don't think it lets me. Alright, well, we'll just click play again here now and then so he goes back to the top. So as you can see, this is rotated totally the wrong way. So we're going to try to rotate the body. Like I said, you can see it updating in live in real time. So even if it's a little bit counterintuitive, I can really get it, like, start to see where it is relative to where we want it. I'm trying to think here. That's side to side that way. This is side to side this way. So we'll put it here. Maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. And we got to make sure these arms like rotate the correct way, right? Because his arms are way out, like up there near his head. Likewise, this isn't even rotated the right way. This seems like it should be like the other way, maybe. Of course, then his whole arm needs to rotate more. So it's kind of like that, right? It's like his arm is like going up there, pretty much. That looks a lot better. This leg is rotated too much, I would say. We'll go ahead and click that play button again, bring it back up. So now you can see him again on top. This leg still is too far in one direction. I think needs to go downward, out a little bit. So there we kind of get there. Maybe we want to do actually speed this up a little so we kind of see him. Yeah, maybe we'll just speed it up a little bit. We see it sink through. So we're getting much closer, I would say, but this arm here is still totally wrong. So we definitely have to fix this arm to be going up towards where that hammer is, and that should be sort of up here. Yeah, like more like there. This should connect. His body's pretty good, but I'm starting to wonder if his body should be raised a little more. Kind of reflect the fact that, sorry, I'm moving that in the wrong direction. Kind of reflect the fact that maybe it's up there a bit. I guess this arm then should connect out like that. So let's click play again. We'll see where he's at there. It's starting to look much more like how we want it to be. And then maybe his head could move to actually match a little bit better with where his actual head is. Kind of like there. So that's pretty good. It looks like that's as fast as we can make this animation go. But I think as you can see, you can sort of start to see there that his arms are starting to look good. I actually think maybe this arm, or both of the arms, actually maybe I was thinking the other one, but both of the arms could stand to be a little bit bigger. So maybe I'll do a little bit of a size increase on that. Now you can see we have this body that pretty much lines up with right where he's at. And depending on how much you're going to use your particular model you're working on, you could go in there and you could stand to sort of just tweak it, just keep tweaking and tweaking as much as you like. So I'm going to call this the unit Paladin, and then we can go to the Paladin portrait, and I'm just going to save that also as the unit Paladin portrait. And we should be able to put that then in the game and should be able to see our unit Paladin, see if we did everything correctly, see how it looks. So let me go ahead and get unit Paladin, and then I'm going to get unit Paladin again with a portrait. Should be great. We'll go ahead and save that, and yeah, then we should be able to go to. We'll just go to the footman, and we'll just make the footman use the unit Paladin because seems good. So now the footman's using the unit Paladin there. Trying to see if I can. There we go. Get my mouse to move a little bit faster. Great. So here's some of these unit Paladins. We'll stick some of them down. Then we'll go ahead and save, and we'll see how they look in game. See if it looks exactly how we want it to look. Loading it up, loading it up. Alright, here we go. Here's some great unit Paladins. There's still that bug in my code that messes up the Paladin's portrait, so that is what it is right now. It'll be good if I get that fixed. It's not too related. So you can see he falls over, he dies, and then he sinks into the ground, and there you have a Paladin body, just like that. We can do it again. We can see it with this guy. We beat him up, we knock him over, he dies, and then he leaves a little Paladin body, just like that. So that concludes our tutorial. I think it's looking all super good, like we expect it to be. And happy modding. I hope you're successful in your endeavors.